Okay, so today I'm going to ferment some beans, and right now they're just in the sink being washed. And I'm going to use a couple of wide-mouth mason jars for this process, and I'll explain later why I do this, or why wide mouth is better suited to fermenting than the regular mouth jars. So I'm going to trim all the ends off these beans, and that's going to take a little bit of effort on my part. So probably just do all this and then get back to you when things are done. And actually they can go into the jars as soon as they're trimmed. It looks like I could use pint jars for this as well, but as long as they're wide mouth, and I may do that. I may just switch to pint. Because of the length of these, they'll fit nicely into pint jars. Actually, why don't I do that right now? Oh no, there's a reason why I'm going with a quart jar. And that'll become apparent later. Okay, so for now I've got the job of trimming all these ends. And I suspect that the 2 jars will be more than adequate. I doubt that I'll be able to get this all done in one. Oh, it's going a little better than I thought. Okay, so after these are all trimmed and put into the jars, I will get back to you. Okay, so I've got my beans all trimmed, and I actually have them in a 1.5 quart size jar, and I've got 2 of those with all the beans that I bought. And now I'm going to mix my brine. I've got warm water here, and I'm going to put 3 tablespoons of coarse salt, non-iodized, in warm water, so that it will get mixed up fairly quickly. Certainly does not have to be hot water. And I believe I'll need at least a quart for each one. So I'm mixing up 2 quarts of that, of the salt water brine, and that's all that we're doing. I mean, we can add spices, I suppose, to the beans, but I'm not doing that. I could add dill, but I'm not doing that either. So, now most of that salt is dissolved. And all I'm going to do now is just pour this and make sure that everything is covered. That was a perfect amount. Okay, maybe a little too much. I may have to pull some out. So that's one. And the second one. Okay, fairly close to the same amount here. Now, the secret of failure or success when you're doing fermentation is to ensure that everything is underwater. And one of the value of going to a largemouth mason jar is that you have these little tiny ones that you can get, that you can just sit down or sit into the jar, and it'll keep everything below the level of the water. I don't know if you can see that, but everything is submerged. And I put a lid on, but I never put it on tight because this does ferment and gases escape. And I always put it in some sort of a tray to catch any additional fluids while it's fermenting. And yes, I do have a little excess water that's flowing out, which is fine. I'll wipe that up in a minute. So there we have it. I have my two jars of beans that are being fermented. All of them are successfully submerged underneath these nice little jars that you can put in there to hold everything down, and that will determine the success or failure of your ferment. If it is not completely submerged underwater, you will get mold growing, and that is the one thing that you don't want. So that's fine. Now I'm going to put this aside for about 4 or 5 days. Keep an eye on it, and when it's all done, then I can either take those little jars out, or I could leave them in and put these in storage in a cool place. Okay, that's it for now. Okay, so I've got these banana peppers. They even smell hot. Not my favorite, but my husband likes them, so I'm going to do some hot rings for him. And hopefully I don't transfer the heat to other parts of my body, like my face. Okay, let me get something to put this in. Dangerous stuff, this heat. Not my favorite. And what I'm going to do with this is the same as what I did with the beans. We're going to ferment it because I think that that will create a crispier product as opposed to a soggy one. I must try to find some of that pickle crisp or alum, and perhaps I could can them with some of that, but I haven't been able to locate any in the stores. Alum, I did see it once and I didn't buy it, and I should have done so. Would have at least given me the opportunity to have it in the cupboard in case I wanted to use it. Now I'm leaving the seeds in this. The seeds are part of what retains the heat. I will likely add 1 or 2 other things to this. I'm only going to make 1 jar. He has bought it off the shelf in the past, so I know he likes these things. I do not. To each his own. I'll definitely make it for him though. Okay, hot pepper rings. It's already clearing my sinuses. Okay, 2 more. I think I'll cut the tip off that as well. Not like this is a big job. pretty simple. Cut slices, create rings, stuff them in a jar, add whatever other ingredients you want. I think this will all fit in one jar. Really don't want to make 2 jars of this. On the other hand, I suppose I can do 2 wide-mouth mason jars, pint jars. Okay, let me get a jar. Okay, so I've got 2 wide-mouth mason jars here because I don't think that one is going to be adequate. And just for funsies, I'm going to put 2 hot chili peppers and 2 cloves of garlic in each one. The chili peppers are more to add color, but if it adds heat, oh well. And then I'm going to put half of this in each jar. At least try to get it equally half. Okay, looks like I did that. Could I have gotten all of that in one? Perhaps. Perhaps I could try doing that and smushing it down. Let's see if that works. Probably not. I think I will try. No. Actually, yes. Okay. Oh boy, I better wash my hands after this. Okay. Also, I've got my hot water, warm water, and I'm going to put, this time, 2 large tablespoons of salt. And the reason I put this jar in there because I may end up pouring water out of this. Okay. Nope, that looks good. Okay. Now for the trick. Okay, I've got to find a lid for that. Okay, I have managed to put a lid on this, and once again it shouldn't be super tight because you do want the gases to escape, so you want to be able to burp that every day. I'm going to get a bowl for it to sit in so that the liquids do not drain all over my table, and I'm going to put that aside with my beans so that they can ferment for a few days. That's it. That's all there is to it.